Hey guys, Zen here, and today we're back with Rainbow Six Siege. Guys, Year 6 Season 1 is actually in the back half of its release, which actually means that the hype train for Season 2 is going to be starting up here very soon. But in the meantime, there's been some leaks for the next season of Rainbow Six Siege, and it's got the community thinking a little bit, and we're going to talk about it. There's also a few updates that I think are improving the game, and also the return of the highest level of Rainbow Six competition, so let's get into this. This video is sponsored by Ridge, and their now famous Ridge wallet. Over on Ridge.com, you can get your hands on a flagship Ridge wallet and over 30 different color options and some amazing materials. Guys, the Ridge wallet is a slim front pocket style wallet, and they've really changed the game on what a wallet is and improved on the fundamental design. There's room for 12 cards plus cash with a cash strap or money clip, and for you ballers out there, they even offer an actual 18-karat gold-plated wallet that is just stunning. Ridge was kind enough to send one over for you guys to see firsthand and to sponsor this video. And so, if you want to get your hands on the wallet for a new generation, head over to ridge.com/zen and use code ZEN to get 10% off plus free shipping. They guarantee the Ridge for life, and they offer free returns, and so there's no drawback to getting started. Just click the link down below, and thanks to Ridge for sponsoring this video. Yeah, so we just had to start with the brand new Elite uniform for Jackal. This dropped completely unexpectedly, like there was no real lead up to it, and surprisingly, this Elite is coming fresh after a pretty hearty nerf to the operator, and so maybe this is a bit of a parting gift. Either way, Jackal's Elite is available in-game right now, and of course, included is the uniform, headgear, Elite chibi, weapon skin, and victory animation. Now, we can talk Year 6 Season 2. Apparently, the operation name has leaked, and of course, with any leaks, guys, sometimes there's just some things that don't add all the way up, and so this is where the first red flag is for me. Operation North Star is what's been circling recently, but if you dig a little closer, you'll see the issue. In Year 6, it has been decided to completely move away from the word operation for the new season's content. Rainbow Six Siege went through an entire repackaging this year, and this was one of the changes that went a little under the radar, but also made a big impact because it means that the operators are no longer just constantly going out on an operation, but instead it's somewhat of a story arc, like with how Flores was introduced in Crimson Heist. Alongside the name change, there's a brand new Siege logo, new key art that highlights the operators, new voice actors for a bunch of the existing ops, and also the complete removal of the year's pass, and instead all new operators launch in the battle pass. And so this is a full-on push for a restructure of Rainbow Six Siege. Of course, it is possible that North Star is the name for the season, but because it specifically notes operation, I don't know, it might be a bit of a stretch. Now, as for the operator, we know it's from the Nakota, which is honestly one of the most unique locales that Siege has ever been. It's an indigenous region in Canada with ancient roots, and so there could be a ton of history blended into this drop. There will also be the rework to Favela, which marks the second casual-only rework coming to Siege next to House, which means not much will change about the map rotation in Ranked. And so, for me guys, the operation name does have some legs to stand on, because North Star could be referring to Canada, because it's always been considered the North, and there's the possibility Ubisoft wants to explore more of that culture. But as for the operator launching in the season, we can assume it'll be a defender, because in this previous season we got Flores, the attacker, in his Rotero charge. The rumor is another healer, kind of like Doc, but a while back there was a rumor for Year 6 Season 2 for an operator that would fill in holes, but that was back before Neon Dawn, and of course Aruni kind of acts like this for breached walls, and so take everything with a grain of salt. Now, all of this information has been floating around for a very long time. Like, some of this stuff dates back to just before Shadow Legacy, and I get questions all the time, and so this is what we've got. But if you're looking for official information, the best place to get it direct from the creators will be at E3, because it has officially been confirmed to be coming back for 2021 after skipping last year's event. Now, E3, for those curious, has always been gaming's biggest event, where everything from huge new games to next generation consoles are announced, and if you're looking out for news on the largest games today, you'll definitely get something here. So for Ubisoft, they announced another Ubisoft Forward event taking place during E3, and it'll of course host a bunch of big game announcements and reveal what's coming later in the year. It's taking place at noon Pacific time, and given that Rainbow Six Siege has always had some kind of presence at their E3 showing, it's almost a guarantee that it'll be there. Of course, one of the most hyped announcements has got to be for Rainbow Six Parasite, or Quarantine, or whatever they officially name it, because it was actually at E3 where the first teaser came out. Since then, it has been literally whisper silent. Ubisoft have said next to nothing officially other than announcing a name change, because Quarantine, well, just doesn't work in today's landscape. Now, there have been some leaks of some very low quality gameplay, but it has been removed on the grounds of copyright, which means it's completely off limits for now. For me, of course, I'm looking forward to more Rainbow Six Siege, and it's usually in June where we see Season 2 kick off, but Parasite is my most anticipated game of 2021 should it release, and there is no better of a time to get an official gameplay trailer than at E3 this year because a lot of eyes will be on the show. The last thing we got was this pic here of Ella with the logo of Parasite, which was data mined from the PlayStation Store, and Ubisoft came out and addressed the name and said it was just placeholder. So for all intents and purposes, Rainbow Six Parasite is not the official name. As far as E3, Nintendo and Microsoft will hold a conference, and Ubisoft, along with Capcom, Konami, Take-Two, and more, will present as well. Sony still hasn't confirmed as far as a platform holder, and Activision actually just recently popped up on the company list, so it should be a full house. The event begins on the 12th of June, so not long before we see what's coming up here. But now we're gonna get a bit technical and talk about an issue plaguing Consulate, one of the maps that I dislike the most in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, I know there are some die-hard fans out there, and I get it. It's one of the original maps in the game, and so there's been plenty of opportunity to master it. Now, with the exception of a few small tweaks to it and a bit of a cosmetic change, this map is basically unchanged since launch, and I think it deserves credit for at least being a consistent map throughout the years and all the different metas it's been exposed to. But if I have one tip to make every single attacking round more productive for those of you who may be struggling a bit, is to abuse the windows. As an attacker, especially on the main site up top, one of the most frustrating takes for a defender is to have multiple attackers on the windows surrounding the map and bring a nomad to protect the runouts. There is so much coverage from those windows. They allow you to hear the majority of the site, and you're usually a very small target and difficult to hit if you're not totally exposed, and so it really is a powerful push as an attacker. But recently, Rainbow detailed an issue on Consulate windows that I think the majority of us have experienced and have just been unaware of, and it actually has an effect throughout the entirety of Rainbow Six Siege. They showed off the collision layers for the assets in the game, and it could be a hint to why certain surfaces react differently. Bullets and projectiles travel through the high-res collision layers, but on window frames, they travel through the low-res layers because it's easier to predict as a player because it's less complex. So this is really technical, like game development stuff, but I thought for those that experience those inconsistencies, especially on Windows, you might want a better understanding. I think what it really comes down to are low-res assets being the shape and outline, and the high-res adding all the detail and polish. As you can imagine, windows are very straightforward, rectangular shapes, and so it's just easier to have projectiles interact with the lower res layer. So as for Consulate, the windows have pretty much always been bugged, and explain some of the frustration you might encounter if you're throwing grenades and you're sure they would pass through, but they bounce off or hit a piece of it that you didn't intend to. The window issue is actually fixed in patch 1.3, which should make Consulate a better experience for any of you window spiders. I only really recognized this once this explanation went up, and so it's actually greatly appreciated to get a better understanding. Nice one. Finally, guys, two quick updates to wrap this one up. Firstly, the 6th Invitational is making its triumphant return this year for 2021 and has been detailed. So from May 11th through the 23rd, the 6th Invitational will be live from Paris, and yet another team will get the chance to raise the hammer as champions. And lastly, the Microsoft Discord deal is off. This was surprisingly a big deal to some people who just didn't want it to go through, but yeah, Discord actually declined the $10 billion offer from Microsoft and have decided to move forward on their own, and so I guess cheers to that. And that's it for our video today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and make sure to get subscribed with notifications if you're new to the channel. Hey, I'm out.